Hello there, welcome to VGC. I'm Chris Scullion and I'm joined by the wonderful Jordan Midler. Jordan, how are you today?
Chris, I just got back from the Rhea Ripley lookalike contest, and let me tell you, second place, not bad.
Oh, that's not bad. Out of two.
Yeah.
And to be fair, number one was Rhea Ripley herself, which you kind of really didn't have any chance at all. Yesterday, I was in the Big Smoke, London as the kids call it, to see WWE 2K25 and go hands-on with it for a few hours. And what you're seeing right now is footage I captured myself. As we watch it, it is very roughly edited. I'm about to put some transitions in, which I realise I haven't done yet. In case you're wondering why we saw a jarring cut from Rhea Ripley to Dominic Mysterio, but that'll look a lot smoother for people. Yeah, I just thought we'd chat a wee bit about what I saw and what I thought about it.
Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley here hinting possibly at an intergender match, Chris Scullion.
Well, funny you should say that. I thought I might as well start with an intergender match because that's one of the big selling points in this year's game, is that men and women can now batter lumps out of each other as God intended. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the controversy, the faux outrage from people when this happens. But
I can't believe this has happened. This is the first genuinely shocking thing they've put in one of these games for me in about 25 years, because obviously in previous years you couldn't do this, but certain members of the community creations team would rip the female models out of the game and re-upload them as male characters in order to do this. So
yeah,
considering intergender wrestling has happened a few times on WWE, but it's not like there's a weekly intergender championship. This surprised me.
No, yeah, there obviously was a period where it was more, during the Attitude Era, it was more kind of considered acceptable when China would fight with Chris Jericho and stuff like that. And I suppose recently you had Nia Jax in the men's rumble, but yeah, for the most part, it's pretty... speaking of the bold Nia
Jax stinking the gaff up. Oh, and VGC's Lyra Valkyria.
Exactly. Huge fan of the site. Yes, this is one of the showcase matches. This is the Bloodline kind of showcase, where it's interesting. They've changed the showcase this time. So the last few years they've had that slingshot tech where they switch between in-game and live action. They've taken that out now, and I think it's for the better. Because I always felt that was quite jarring when it would switch to live action and you go, oh, that's a cool trick, and then realise you're sitting there for 5 minutes just watching wrestling.
Yeah.
So it's all in
times watching a match you have seen 100,000 times.
Exactly. So it's all in-game cutscenes this time, which is quite good. And because it's not using live footage, they've got 3 kinds of matches now. It's like, what is it? It's recreate. I'm making these words up, but it's something it's like recreate, change, and fantasy. So some of them it's like you have to basically do what happened in the real match. Other ones, like this Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins one, you have to kind of change what happened in the match, so the outcome changes. And then you get absolute fantasy ones, which you'll see in a bit. Which is the fantasy one I played was the Wild Samoans versus the Dudley Boys.
Nice.
And they're all introduced by Paul Heyman, who does like outrageously good promos, like A-tier promos, setting each one up. But yeah, it's brilliant. It's one interesting thing now with the showcases as well is that you've got timed objectives now. So sometimes it's like within 2 minutes, take them outside the ring and do this finisher. So it's quite kind of tense, and you don't fail if you do those, but you won't unlock certain things. So that kind of adds to the replay value.
Is that our unlock still locked behind showcase? Is that how they're still doing it?
It seems to be based on because I only saw like a limited version of the menus. So, but it looks like that's the case. I unlocked a couple of wrestlers and stuff in the build I was playing. There's your Wild Samoans,
Afa and Sika,
the very two, and also I don't know if you get a glimpse of him. At ringside is Captain Lou Albano, who's been added as a manager, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's just like a slightly glitchy table match, but that's as the best table matches are. But yeah, I this was new to me, but I don't know if it is actually new or if I just switched it in the options last game just to put a button bashing thing in.
Yeah, so, I was about to ask you if that's a new thing, but
it's like a submission thing where you both spin the gauge round.
UFC games, the old cat and mouse thing for the UFC games with the submissions.
Pretty much. I mean, no doubt we're going to get someone in the comments who says that's been in it for 5 years because I instantly switched to just button bashing for these things. Same with the pin. although I couldn't put it on for this session, which was frustrating trying to kick out of pins by moving the stick up. You've used Jacob Fatu's.
Who is this thin Jacob Fatu?
I know, exactly.
We're sitting watching.
Slim as hell.
On the Ozempic. Jacob Fatu is a big bastard. Why is he not like chunky?
The first thing that the creator wrestling community will be doing is going straight in him and changing the body sliders. But yeah, another interesting wee thing that they seem to have added, and again, this might be something that's been in the options for years, and I've just never noticed and turned on, but I'm pretty sure it isn't, is when you get knocked down now, next to your character's wee body thing in the icon, when you get knocked down normally now, you'll see a wee tiny gauge that shows when they're going to get up. So separate from the stunned gauge, there's one for every time you fall down now.
That is new, yeah.
Because I've never been massively satisfied battering buttons when lying down because I don't know if it's doing anything or not. And now you can actually see the gauge speeding up when you fall down. You can see it kind of slowly going round. So it's kind of hard to see in this because maybe if you'll see Jey Uso's just now, you might see it there. Oh,
I think that's one of the issues with the professional wrestling as an art and an entertainment against making it as a sports game, because obviously in the performance of professional wrestling they get up when they need to do the next part, whereas in this it has to be like, well, you've done this amount of damage, so you're not going to get up, kind of thing.
Well, you can see it in Jacob Fatu's name just now. There's a wee red kind of circle next to his name, and it's kind of a wee pie chart and as soon as it ends, that's when it gets up. So that's really useful now for kind of telling, not only for telling yourself when you're getting up, but when you take someone down in like a ladder match, you can now see kind of easier when they're actually going to get up, which might kind of spoil some of the intrigue, but I think it's actually quite useful.
Is that incredibly annoying, like instant recovery thing still in it?
That's still there, I'm afraid.
Man, you can honestly sell me a new entry just by taking that out. Like, do a finisher, then the other person goes whoop and just jumps back to their feet immediately.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating, but yeah, it is what it is. But we've got a little. I think this Day One Raw arena is new.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh god, the little Prime thing at the side. That's new.
The Prime hydration station is now there, and you can. From what I didn't try it, I should have, but apparently you can throw people into it and like use the Prime bottle as a weapon and stuff. So much like the weapon who promotes it. But yeah, so it's. I'm really happy with the actual gameplay itself isn't wildly different, but I suppose they've kind of, after the debacle a few years back, they've obviously decided let's not rock the boat too much. People seem to be happy with it.
I mean, I saw a thing saying this is going to have 300 people in it, so surely that can't be individual wrestlers. That's got to count like iterations of people, because that would be absolutely ridiculous if there was 300 different wrestlers in there.
Maybe, but I'd need to count through. I'm sure 2K24's got over 200. So,
I mean, including 40 Pat McAfee podcast guests.
Yeah, that's true.
Who the hell's the DLC going to be then if they've got everyone in that? I mean, Penta probably, but
that's the thing. We did a kind of roundtable interview last week with them, and someone asked if Penta was going to be there, and they did the usual, oh well, never say never. So you wonder if maybe, and this is pure guesswork on my part, there's no confirmation here, maybe there'll be some TNA stuff maybe, but now that they've got this new partnership, maybe cheeky Joe Hendry at the end of the year, but you've got to imagine Penta's going to, because he's turned up roughly at the same time as Punk turned up last year, so you've got to imagine. And
as mentioned on something else, they've known Penta's coming for ages and he's using the same gear he used in AEW, so it's not as if they couldn't start a wee sketch of what he's going to look like.
Exactly.
There's boys in the community creations that will make you a Penta day one, so I don't really buy that they don't have the time to do it.
No, exactly, and you know they're going to have a million different Penta outfits. He looks like he's worn like 5 outfits already, even though he's only fought twice.
I think if they were going to do, they could do like a Joe Hendry, Jordan Grace, and then Motor City Machine Guns as a wee TNA pack.
I'd do well up for that.
Oh, is this the NXT parking lot?
This is in the NXT parking lot now. They've basically taken the ambulance from the ambulance match and just dumped it in here, so you can still open the door and throw people into it and stuff like that, which is quite good. It's quite a large new area. I also got a brief glimpse of the archive, which I wasn't allowed to capture. In the WWE archives. It's fantastic.
Okay,
we can't really show it yet. There'll be an extra video on that, kind of explaining what's in there. There's a lot of Easter eggs to see. But I wasn't allowed to take
Mae
footage of
Young's
that.
hand.
Exactly, just a big hand on it, like the Terminator's hand in T2, just in its own wee thing. But yeah, it's I'm really happy with this new kind of area. It's pretty large. There's lots of stuff to see, and
Get the sense you could go in because obviously it's outside the performance center. Could you go in?
potentially I couldn't, like when from what I played with it wasn't like an option, but maybe you can. I just couldn't see it in the brief time. I only had like one or two games in it, and then here's your
What's this camera angle?
person camera. You can now play the game from third person camera if you want. So this is a Royal Rumble, and you basically your right stick becomes like a free cam. But so to do the right stick moves, because obviously if you pick someone up from the ground, you need to use the right stick. You just hold the right trigger, and then that activates all the right stick moves.
Oh, okay.
So it takes a match or two to get used to, but for a Royal Rumble, it's quite cool because you can basically turn around to see the stage if you want to see someone coming, or if it's starting to get quite busy, you can turn the camera around to get a better view of your person. So yeah, and obviously intergender matches make the Royal Rumbles.
A fully
Yeah,
intergender Royal Rumble. That's
So-
never happened before. Only in WWE 2K25.
Everything is possible. My only hope, and I don't see this happening, is that you can now increase the number of Royal Rumble participants because the demo thing, the build we played was only up to 10. In the full game, the maximum's still only 30. If you've got a roster of 300, I would love to be able to
It's
bump that
bizarre
up.
because not only, I mean, the 2012 Royal Rumble was 40 for one, and then they did like the Saudi Arabia Rumbles a couple of times that were 40. So at least I think we are well on our way for the Rumble, as we said in our Royal Rumble review, patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle. I think the normal Rumbles are going to become 40 sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I would think so too. Well, we're coming to the end of this footage. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, I'm going to be putting up kind of more unedited versions of these in the coming days, because I've got about an hour and a half's worth of footage to be kind of sifting through. This is just the first kind of to meet the embargo for today. I thought I'd put a wee montage together, but there's a lot more to come. So these matches will be put up in a more kind of fuller form over the coming days. So if you keep watching VGC, the old YouTube channel, do the liking and subscribing, as I believe the kids do these days. They love their liking and subscribing, and you'll get to see more of this footage. Jordan, any final words as we see the final boss? True, that's a fair point and well made. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will leave you with The Rock and his oddly fitting sunglasses as he walks towards the ring looking like a big baldy banger. Goodbye.